This week on Lemon's Car Spotting.
Hey everybody, it's Nick and Eric. It's time for another episode of Lemon's Car Spotting. Let's go.
Oh, man. Right to the Coot Sport.
Yeah.
Is this pre-war? I feel like this is 30s MG, but I mean, 30s MGs are tough to distinguish from 50s MGs unless you really know what you're talking about, and I don't. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, God, I was looking at that. I initially I wasn't even sure that it was an MG.
I mean, it is entirely possible it's not.
Because it doesn't have the MG grille, which could just mean that it's a missing. But it does definitely have some TC tendencies from about the cowl backward.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. Tell us in the comments what kind of Coot Sport mobile this is. It's cool.
Yeah. 100%. It's in some random suburban looking neighborhood near Kansas City, apparently, which is an interesting place for this. Vertical windshield. The way that the front leaf springs extend out looks very pre-war to me. So,
well, like you said, I mean, the MGTC was made, I mean, if not quite into the 50s, I mean, certainly it's a post-war. The first year of the TC, I think, is post-war, and it looks like, some serious Sherlock Holmes, like Victorian era, like whatever. I don't know. Tell us what this thing is.
Yeah. There you go.
Next up. Now, here's the thing. Whenever somebody shows up in a 928 or a 944, which they often do in a Lemons race, people say, one sold on Bring a Trailer for $176,000. And I think the deal is, the Porsche, those, non-911 Porsches are definitely the kind of car, they're not the only ones, where they come in two different versions. $176,000 on Bring a Trailer and abandoned.
Yeah.
And if you can find the abandoned one, that one can become a Lemons car. For everybody who thinks that 928s and 944s, good Lord, there's no debate about those. But anybody who thinks you can't get a V8 Grand Touring Porsche for Lemons, go find this one and, bring a case of beer. You'll get it.
Yeah. Jay famously had a $500 Porsche 928 that he ran on the first double 500, right? Is that?
Yep, that's right. The spiritual predecessor to the 24 Hours of Lemons.
Yeah. So, I mean, it has provenance, and man, we used to have, I don't know, we've never had a lot of 928s, but we used to have 5 or 6 of them. That's kind of dwindled down to 2, I think, that are left. We haven't seen anybody bring a new one in a while. And clearly there are at least 4 of them in this shot, of which you could probably cobble together one good one. I wouldn't personally recommend doing it, but it'll go really fast for a while.
Yeah, and V8, obviously it comes with a V8, so you can put other V8s in it. The one that we would recommend, as we always do, is the 4.7 liter Chrysler PowerTech V8.
That's right.
That you could get out of a Dakota. Clear choice there. And really bringing back, the Chrysler German partnership that we enjoyed so much when we had Daimler Chrysler. So
I would also recommend an Audi 4.2 liter V8, which will go really fast for a while.
Yeah.
Not long, but for a while.
Well, yeah, that's the engine for whom the 928 motor is too simple and reliable.
That's right.
Then you need to, So, all right. Well, your mission's clear there.
Yeah.
Next up.
Oh, baby. Man, speaking of goes for $800,000 on Bring a Trailer.
Yeah.
As a 340 Cuda sitting out in a field somewhere that obviously hasn't moved in a really long time. I don't know what you say about this. I mean, it is a fundamentally cool car that people want, and yet here's one sitting in a field doing absolutely nothing. You know, if it was really one of those things where people wanted to save every single one of them, you would show up and offer this guy a disgusting amount of money and take it home. Instead, here it is.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, to be fair, it's probably one of those guys that, like, nothing here is for sale. I know what I have. I will restore it.
Yeah.
Every one of those dudes has a price. Like, if you go in here and offer him $10, he might not take it. But if you offer him real money, like, who's going to say no to, you know, something that's just sitting there? Like, you know, like my mom's Rover. Like, it's not really for sale, but it is, you know?
Right.
It just doesn't have the desirability of a 1970 Cuda or whatever this thing is.
Yeah, this one actually looks like maybe it's a tad later, like a 72, 73. I don't know anything about how late they made the Cuda, but it has the hood pins that was probably the factory hood pins. It had a Landau roof that no longer is there, and it had a big cool stripe on the side. I mean, it's kind of all the cool Moparness of the 70s street machine thing. So, I mean,
I mean, just the fact that they had a car that was called the Cuda.
The Cuda, yeah.
It would be like if Chevy came out with a car called the Vet.
right.
So stupid and yet great.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we're going to name our top of the line muscle car after a fish. So take that, General Motors, and your Stingray.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. No, but it was officially a Cuda. Like, not even they had a Barracuda, and then that one was the Cuda.
Yeah.
With an apostrophe. The first letter is apostrophe. I mean, my God. That's one way to be alphabetically first on any computer parts list.
That's a good point.
All right, next up, we've got another cache of possibly valuable but clearly not, and instead abandoned vehicles. In this case, early Datsun Zs. I mean, what is I can't tell. I mean, certainly the one in the front looks early-ish. I mean, it's missing its bumper. It looks like the short version as opposed to the 2+2. There's another something similar behind it. I mean, these are everybody knows what a Datsun Z is. It's a fundamentally sound vehicle. They've had good success in lemons. We haven't seen too many of these earlier style ones, but then the next generation, like the late 70s, early 80s 280ZX, especially the 280ZX Turbo, done really well in lemons. Like, that's one of those cars, like, it's sort of an old design, and especially when you start putting turbos and stuff on it, like, you would think like, oh, well, that's never going to work in an endurance race, and they kind of do.
Yeah. Famously, Mike Morse's pacemaker is a 280Z, which is probably what this is, because I think that's just what most of them are that are left. But the 280ZX is the next chassis. It's like a 300ZX chassis with a 280 engine, kind of. It's a little more complicated than that, but that seems to be the straight six engine that they put in these seems to be pretty tough for endurance racing, and the chassis that came after this one seems to be slightly better. So it seems to be the one that you want. That said, I mean, again, this car is $60,000. I'll bring a trailer, and this one obviously is some kind of special edition or tape stripe dealer thing. And some guy thought it was special enough to park behind his machine shop and leave there.
And here it is.
Yep.
Yeah, that was in 1978.
Yeah.
All right. Next up.
Oh, dude.
Oh, wow. What the? Oh, baby.
There's so much happening here that I mean, this is obviously at a car show. Or something. The front end is a Subaru, like DL or something like that. 80s Subaru. The back is deep sigh. I don't know.
Super Beetle.
Is it Super Beetle? I mean, the roof line is
That's what I think. Yeah.
The roof line is super wrong and is throwing me off. But now I see the Super Beetle is like underneath the curve that they made.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that it's the wrap really makes it. I gotta say, with the the Gulf livery ripping off as though Subaru is exploding out of the Beetle.
I mean, what possesses somebody to do this? It's incredible.
Yeah.
And one can only hope. I mean, Subaru being really the only other manufacturer in the mainstream anyway that hitched its wagon to horizontally opposed 4-cylinder engines. There's a connection between Subaru and your air-cooled Beetle, and one could only hope that it's got a twin-engine flat 4 front and rear for a flat 8 water-cooled in front, air-cooled in back situation. God, I would have never in a million years thought of something like this, and yet somebody did it and actually made it happen. What a thing.
Yeah, your mission is clear. Also want to point out this is spotted at Sebring International Raceway, which makes an incredible amount of sense also. As a weird place, man.
Yeah, welcome to Florida.
Yeah.
All right. Last up, we got ourselves a Dustbuster minivan. Appears to be a Lumina APV or similar.
Yeah.
And I think it's being used as a mobile billboard.
Well, a billboard. I would not make any
true.
promises about its mobility.
Yeah. They were able to wheel this thing. I mean, the nice thing about using a car as billboard in the parking lot of your apparently a repair shop is that, cars are heavy. They don't blow over in the wind, unlike, a sign. You don't have to hire a dude that's dressed in a funny outfit and spinning the thing around his head. You just roll this thing into place and it's ready to go.
Yeah. Amazing. I don't know what else you say about this. I mean, it'd be tough to pry this off of their hands without offering another vehicle and putting the same graphics on it for them. But if you put a roll cage in this and put a number somewhere in there without changing anything, that is a mint lemons car right there.
Yeah, what a thing. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. I've got the hooptiest for this week. Let's see. I gotta go with the Subug. It's somebody making something that I've never even thought of is just an amazing deal. And it's not really that hoopty. I mean, it looks like it's actually pretty well executed, but just for uniqueness and weirdness, it's my hoopty pick of the week.
Yeah, and no need to travel far for the lemons choice of the week. This is, just look at it. And now imagine yourself driving this thing at Sebring International Raceway or Road Atlanta or whatever, trying to manage 2 transmissions, because I am going to just assume this is twin engine. And imagine how much fun that would be. Or alternatively, imagine seeing this thing on the track with you from your own Lemons car. Perfect. If you can't buy this one from the weirdo who built it and executed it pretty much perfectly, you should probably set about doing that on your own to build one of these. There are a million Beetle chassis out there. There are still some of these Subarus out there that are front-wheel drive. Perfect. Do this.
There you go. That'll do it for this week. Keep finding your weird cars and posting them on Instagram. We'll find and we'll talk about them. See you next time.
Yep.
Oh, man. You can take any Subaru and do this. Or, I don't know, take a new Beetle and do this. It's just, I don't know why you would do it. But if there's any motivation that you need, it's entering a Lemons race.
Yeah. Yep.